here's a dryer that I picked up. Sold a lady a dryer, picked this one up. I've got it plugged in, and I noticed that if you can hear when you start this dryer, there's a hum in that motor. I don't know if you can hear that hum. Now it'll tumble for a few minutes, she said, and it would quit, and she'd have to wait and do it all over again. But if you hear that hum when it starts, it means the motor's shot. I have no idea what's wrong with the motor, but the motor is shot. And what we're going to do, we have spare motors over there. We are going to take this machine and turn it into a sellable machine. We'll polish it up, do whatever we have to do with it. Okay, so we're back at it. We had to deal with a customer, so we're going to change the motor on this. First thing we want to do is get into the back of it. Now I've already taken out these two screws, which you'll need to do. Well, I need to get into the back of it because we'll have to take the blower off of it. And if we're lucky, we can get the blower off without breaking it. If not, we'll have to change the blower. And while we're back here, we'll examine all our element parts and all the components back here. Make sure they're operational. I think they are. It's just that the motor, what will happen is the motor will get under a strain and it'll heat up, and there's a thermal protection in the side of the motor. And once it heats up, it will shut the motor off, and then it'll cool down, and then you restart it, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And you'll know that motor is defective when it starts humming when you start it, hum, before it starts, and then it'll start shutting itself off. And it's a real pain, somebody trying to dry their clothes. I think this lady was a nurse, and she said she needed her scrubs. So you need to take these. Oh, I'm going to have a difficult one here. There's 4 screws on the bottom side of this blower shroud. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now this dryer's been around a while. It's got one of these old type thermal fuses on it. But if everything's working okay, don't feel the need to change it. So to take this off, you need to just clear the edges of that. Pull it on up and take this out. And you usually find all kinds of neat stuff. There's a drill bit. Toothpicks. Lots of lint, which we'll clean out before we put it all back together. I'm just going to set this up here for now. Toothpicks, and we'll need to change this out right here. It has been compromised. No longer a good seal, so we'll fix that when we put it back together. Now we're going to have to take this blower wheel off. But first, we need to get to the other side of it. Now they do have, those blower wheels have a square part on them that you can sometimes put a crescent wrench on and use for backup. And you need, one thing you need to remember about these blower wheels on these Whirlpool type machines that are in that configuration, like this one, is they are left hand thread, so it's righty loosey, lefty tighty. And you'll want to remember that, because you will break the blower wheel every time, and sometimes you'll break it anyway trying to get it all, depending how long it's been on there, or how tight it was, or one thing or another. Now what I did, there's 2 screws in here. There's 2 clips. Take them off with a putty knife. There's your door switch right here. Unplug it. Take 2 screws out the front, and then you just kind of pick up, and it'll release. Oh, look at there! I got 2 cents richer today. Now we're going to set this aside, and we got our knee saver out, and you want to reach up in here, and oh wow, that's been rubbing pretty good. Reach up in here and grab this belt. I think you can see that. Take it off of that pulley and just rotate the tub a little bit, and all that'll come out. Grab the belt and lift your tub out. There we go. Now one good thing about this motor, it's got a metal motor pulley on it. Steel motor pulley, not one of those aluminum ones. So anyway, we're going to unplug it and get this wire out of the way. These motors are pretty good. This was outside, in an outside laundry room. You can see the moisture's gotten to it. Alright. So the way I do this is I leave this front one on, but it's a clip that holds the motor in the carriage. You can take a big screwdriver, and there's another wider clip right here. You want to get behind that, so you can push it down and pull up, and it should loosen that clip. And now you can see down in there, there's the square part of that shaft. You can see it. See that square part right there? We want to see if we can get a crescent wrench on it. The bigger the better. Yeah, here. Let's see if that's Lisa. Yeah. Wally's mama. Alright. We can get a crescent wrench on it. And you want to get that on there as tight as possible, because that's plastic.
See that old cleaner?
Cool.
So I'm at the grocery store.
You through with that?
Yeah, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use tacky and...
Okay.
The smell has invaded my shop.
So that's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. But I got to go out from the back. I can't visualize this. No, it's righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. So that wheel's got to turn that direction to loosen. So That means we need to go down on that to loosen it, and we will tighten on this one if we can get it to move. It's going to give us a fit. Ah, we got it. All right. I don't know if you can see it, but it's...
Get where you can stop.
Huh?
Get where you can stop.
Why?
To me.
Oh. Let me get this wheel out first and I'll be there.
Which you want? Pork or chicken?
Huh?
Pork or chicken?
Whatever you don't want. Girl takes care of me. I got this off without breaking it. That is a blessing. Okay, now we can remove that motor. And you just push down, pop out like that, and we ought to be able to lift that motor completely out, just like that. And I'm staring at a good motor right there. You have to always make sure that your shafts are the same distance. This one has a metal, a steel pulley on it too, which is good. Alright, and our wiring matches up. This is it. So let's put this one in there. And you remember that your hookup is going to go diagonally like that. And it fits right in there. So these usually come off easier than they go back on. And if you'll see, there's what I'm doing back there. You can see on this, there's these little gizmos right here that this would hook into. This one's going to hook into that. Hook in like that. And then it goes around the top of that plastic piece. And then you'll push it and snap it into place there. Let's put this back one on first. It's usually a little harder to do. There we go. So let's get up and we'll push down. And we don't have it. It's not as easy as getting off of there. Hate these things. Come on, little more. It's wet. And this one should be a bit easier. Gotta get them lined up just right. All right. Now we can plug this back in. And we'll put our blower wheel back on. First, let's blow all the junk out of it. Toothpicks. Now remember, to take this off, we had to turn it clockwise, and to put it back on, we're going to have to turn it counterclockwise. So now what's going on here? There it went. Now we're going to have to put some backup on it. Hold some backup. And I'm going to grab that wheel. Easy does it. There it goes. You just need to snug it with your hand real good. And that is now tight. And as it spins up the speed, it'll tighten more. That's why it's left hand threaded. So she brought lunch, so let's break for lunch and I'll be back at it in a few minutes. Hey Ruby. Okay, it's after lunch and we're back at it, and we got two dogs. It's raining out. Ruby's wet. Ruby's the kind of dog that stinks like a wet dog when she gets wet. So go on, Ruby. No, Wally, y'all get out of here and just leave me alone. I'm trying to do a video. No, go on. Get off my stuff. Anyway, we just changed this motor out, and had I been wise, look at there, I found, what, 35 cents? 40 cents? Had I been wise, I'd have blown this out, cleaned it out when I had the motor out. But, you know, we can't all be geniuses. So anyway, maybe I'll scare Ruby off with this. Alright, now while I'm here, I can take some dry lubricant. You don't want to use a wet lubricant inside a dryer because you have lint, everything in there that can collect on the oil that you put on rollers and such. And I like to put a little dry lubricant on rollers, on the roller shafts. It makes them spin a lot better. And if I'm around, I can put some dry lubricant on the centrifugal switch. This is the switch that pops in and out as the motor spins up to speed and disengages the start windings of this motor. Okay. Now we can put our tub back in. You have to lift it over the top of the rollers. The rollers are fitting in this little groove here. If you roll them a little bit, you get them in there just right. That tub will just kind of hang there. Now we're going to need our idler pulley. I'll get some rust off of that. It's rusty looking. It won't hurt anything. And also squirt a little dry lube on it. I mean by dry lube, it goes on wet, it dries, and it leaves I think a silicone film. Not sure. Anyway, put this idler pulley back in. There's two slots, if you can see them. This part slides down in one, and these little big things fit down in the other. So put it in just like that. Alright, then I don't think you can see. I can take this off and I'll lay it down. I don't know if you'll be able to see me do this, but reach in there and take the belt, put it over the top of the idler pulley. And grab it, lift the belt, the idler pulley up, and the belt should go back toward the motor pulley, and you just slide it over the top. Back on. Hope that was visible. Maybe it wasn't. If not, we'll figure it out for the video. So now let's take this. It looks fairly clean. You going now, Wally? Put this back on. There's two square holes on each corner, and there's two clips on each corner, and they've got little teeth that sit straight up, and you want to just put those on top of those clips. Lift your tub up, push it forward, and don't forget to plug in your door swing. Then you'll take your 5/16 inch screws and put them back in the cabinet. What's going on here? That that fits more better. There we go. Now, before we even put this back together back here, let's plug in and make sure our wheel and everything is operating correctly. Alright, I'm going to turn the timer on time dry, and I'm going to look over the top, and I'm going to push the button. Perfect. And you noticed there was no hum when the machine started up. So let's put it back up on the dolly, and we'll put the shroud on, and while we're back there we'll test all the components. I'll push this down. There we go. Okay, I'm going to test this first. Test these. Let's put this on ohms. Well, you know ohms, you'll see this little symbol right here. It's a upside down U looking thing. You test your leads. Alright, test from there, that's good. Test this circuit breaker, this thermostat, and it's good. Test the element, it's good. And you want to test the element against the frame. Alright, I know that's good because it came on. And here's your cycling thermostat, which is good, and your little coil inside is good. So everything back here checks out. So let's put our shroud back on. But we need to clean it out first. Get our hose. Let's go back over here. And before we put this on, we need to seal it. Scrape off all this old stuff. Oh, I hope I got some. You can't get that off, don't worry about it too much. Alright. What did I do with my weather stripping? Oh, I may have to go buy some. I thought that I had some. I may not have made the move from Mr. Harper's. Oh, bang, bang. Nope, not back there. Not there. Ah, dog it. Well, so we need to make a trip to the stove. I'm trying to drive you to the stove. Hot dang it. I thought I had that stuff here. I'm going to have to go buy some. Alright. Let me go to the store and get some weather stripping. We'll get back to you. Alright, so we got this from the lumber yard. I think this is what I used before. I'm not sure. It's about the right thickness. I guess you can get this from Whirlpool, but it would cost you an arm and a leg. Yeah, that's about what I'll get. It's just weather stripping. That's what I used. And what you'll do is put it around. It's got a tape back to it. And you're just trying to seal out the air from leaking out of it. Makes everything more efficient. But I know if you got this from Whirlpool, it'd probably cost you an arm and a leg. And I figured 17 feet would be plenty enough of this stuff. And take your trusty pocket knife and cut it at the joint. That should do it. Okay, now you're not finished yet. On account of you've got to get down in here. I scraped all that, and I think it should hold down. So here we go. Started a place where we can go around in a circle. And all this is window weather stripping, and I see that it works fairly well. It seems to hold up to high temperatures. Doesn't melt or anything. I've done a lot of dryers with it. I'm sure the original stuff is better, but like I said, it's about everything you buy from Whirlpool is going to be high. And you're trying to conserve as much money as you can when you're flipping these things. And that's what we want to do with this one. We're putting a used motor on and resealing all this, and we want to use what we can of what's left of it. Alright, now we will put this away for future use. I had a lot of this. I guess it didn't make the move from Mr. Harper's house. I don't know what I did with it. But now we got some more, and we'll put it in the paint locker so that we'll know where it is next time. Oh, I need to move these transmissions. I've got several here I need to rebuild. Set it right there. I've got some more construction that's going to be going on over here the next few weeks. Finish the walls all the way around, and I'm going to put a big ass fan up here for the summertime, because it gets hot up in here. Of course, it gets hot anywhere in Louisiana, so I need that big fan to blow around that hot air. All that. So now we can replace this. I want you to do how did I miss that? Okay, you want to thread that in there underneath those wires, and then you put this underneath these edges. And dang if it don't just line up perfectly. Then you can put these 4 screws back in. And what these screws will do, they will pull that metal against that foam and make a perfect seal. And the same up here. Makes the machine an awful lot more efficient. You can see it kind of squeezed that foam out. And that's the same with this, it makes a good seal all the way around. Now, we've checked all of that. Let's wipe all this down. There we go. Now we can close it up. When you close these up, this thing has a lip on it that fits up under here. And then it goes down. A lot of people miss that lip, but you shouldn't miss that lip. That It's made there just to hold this particular piece. Everything lined up, you ought to see the screw holes. Alright, let's take our screws now and replace them. Sometimes these are all bent out of shape and everything. If you put one in one corner and one in the other, you can usually get everything lined up after that. This one looks lining up perfectly though, so I'm not too concerned about it. Just replace the 9 screws. Let's see. Yep, 9 screws. And while you have the lug open, you should test the snugness of the lug screws. And always put a cover on it, especially if you're going to resell it. You have to cover that. You don't want anybody to get shocked or electrocuted. It's just not nice. Look inside, it's shocking. So, and all we got left is this rusty one. I'm going to change that one out and throw that away. I don't need no rusty screws. We don't want no rusty screws. There's one. Alright. Well, let's pick it on up. Now we can replace these. You want to hang on to these. You don't want to drop down in here. Get them started. If they drop down in there, where do they go? They go right down to the blower. And you'll turn the thing on and go blam blam, and either a screw will fly out the back or it'll settle down underneath the blower and sit there until you turn it up. It rattles around. May jam on something. A lady one time brought me a dryer. It wouldn't dry clothes. Wait till the train passes. So anyway, she brings me this dryer. Hold on a minute. Okay, so what I was trying to tell you, this lady brings me a dryer and it would not dry her clothes, and everything seemed to work okay, except when I went around the back, it wasn't blowing any air. So I took the shroud off, and I don't know if you saw the size of that. There's a hole in that shroud right in front of that fan. And what happened, her little boy had dropped a CD right down in there, and that CD was just the right size to fit right up against that hole. Every time it turned on, the air would suck, and that CD would suck up against that hole and not allow air to pass. So anyway, we opened it up, fixed it for her. She was happy. Alright, I'm gonna have to get me another receptacle. This one is starting to give me trouble. Let's put a thermometer on it. Let's put it on time dry. How about 60 minutes? Yeah, let's try the clothes that are in there. We don't want the, let's turn everything on that. We don't need the finish guard on. I hate those things. High heat. And let's put some clothes in it. Well, first let's set, you can't test the temperature output with clothes in it. So push the button. It does go when it starts, so this motor is kaput. Let's take this motor and drop it on the bone pile. Destined for the recycle bin. I can feel hot air when I walk through the door. Oh yeah, it's heating up good. It's already up to 90. Heading toward 100. Yeah, we'll watch it's going to get up here around 155, 160, something like that. And we make sure that it'll cycle on and off at the appropriate place. And if it works, we'll put these clothes in there that we washed yesterday. Our test clothes. Now I'm going to tell you about that girl of mine. She takes a real good care of me. And that's what's important in a marriage. Now, a lot of guys will go out there and they'll try to find a debutante, one of these high maintenance girls who likes to do their fingernails all the time, go to the beauty shop, and that's okay. But if that's your main purpose in life, is just to gutsy up all the time, not much to it. You can go out and get your lips all puffed up and I don't see much sense in it myself. But anyway, when you're looking for a wife, beauty fades. Beauty's a good thing in youth, but you need somebody to stay with you, stand by you, help you when you need help, and you don't want to admit it, but a good girl will guide you through life, keep you on the straight and narrow, and she will be a help to you, and the older you get, the more you'll appreciate that. Somebody that raises your children, or is there to help you raise your children, is a good mama. And puts other people ahead of herself. And doesn't have any selfishness. That is a good woman. And I found a gem when I found mine. She is nothing but supportive. And crafty, golly, that girl can do some stuff. She may be a 1950s woman in a 2024 world, but if you can find one like her, latch on to her. I just got lucky. Alright, it got it up to 155. I heard a click. So I'm pretty sure that the cycling thermostat just cut off. It should be getting cooler now. And that's exactly what's happening. So this thing turned off exactly at 155 and it never got up to 160. So what we have there is a dryer that's working correctly. And we'll go ahead and dry this load of clothes in there. And our timer's working because we started at 60, now we're down about 55. Now with clothes in there, you'll notice that our temperature is going to drop way down. Kind of those cold clothes and the moisture in them. As the moisture comes out, it cools the air in there. So we'll leave that in there for about 40 minutes. And we'll have a good dryer. Now, we started painting this morning, not knowing it was going to rain. We didn't think it was going to rain. But this one, what it'll need is a good sanding on the top and the sides. We'll take the console up and we'll scrape all this right here. And we'll paint it. And I like to use this Rust-Oleum appliance epoxy enamel. Gives you a smooth factory-like finish. Stops rust, and that's what you really need, something to stop the rust. But to stop the rust, you need to sand it down to the bare metal. Clean it with acetone and then paint it. And we found 25, 35, 42 cents. I just sanded the top of this thing and now it's going to rust all up again. Got a little wet. This is another one that we're working on. This is what we do. We just take 100 grit sandpaper and sand that down to the bare metal. It's already trying to rust again. I gave the man $15 for this one. Still have a lot of work to do to get that down, but anyway, I'm going to spare y'all the tedious chore of sanding these down and painting them. But that one's fixed. It's ready to be sold. We fixed another one. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up and check us out.